Hi everyone, I'm Irene, this is Perpetually Paperback, and today I'm going to be talking about banned books. Hi everyone. So today I really wanted to talk about banned books because that's been such a huge topic in the media at the moment, and I just find it to say ridiculous is just, it doesn't even begin to talk about how I feel about this. This is so stupid. I don't believe in any kind of censorship really, and banning books I think is just ridiculous, especially in this age where you can basically get them in any other capacity. Almost to a certain extent, I will say, I was definitely a kid that if someone said that I shouldn't read it or if it was on a banned book list, I was getting my hands on that shit. So there is the only thing that I will say is hopefully it will spark kids' interests into wanting to read these books, because some of these are incredibly stunning. Most of the ones that have been banned are banned because they're good. Not necessarily because they're being read in, or they're being interpreted in the way that the reason that people want to ban them is. For example, I have a list of some that have been famously banned, and I'm going to kind of talk through those, especially because, for example, some of them are not even that good. The one that comes to mind, that's actually a super relevant read, but I would say Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale. Super relevant, super scary. Anyone can easily see why you would consider banning that book. However, like a lot of banned books, you'll also find that if there's an HBO show on it, and also for that matter, I'm sorry, we watch Euphoria. People don't have any business banning books. please. I mean, yes, I realize that is on HBO and not on normal cable, but really, no. Absolutely not. Books are not where you start this conversation. Anyway, some of the ones that I happen to have are Alice Walker's The Color Purple, movie made by Steven Spielberg. Fantastic book, beautifully written. Everyone should read Alice Walker. It is heartbreaking and gorgeous, an absolute classic. Another one that is actually banned all the time, and to some extent I can kind of understand why. I personally really loved this book. It's Toni Morrison's The Bluest Eye. I believe this is the first book that she actually published. It is essentially a story about how racism is translated in one's identity, and how racism evolves one's self-identity. Now, this one in particular, so caveat, does have incest in it, so that's usually the reason why it is banned. But while that is not something that is comfortable to read or enjoyable in any instance, there are many books that have that as subject matter, and many of those aren't getting banned. So this is one you absolutely should read. If you don't want to read that, read other Toni Morrison. She is this is another author that as American literature, you need to be reading Toni Morrison. If not this, almost any other. Read Toni Morrison. Next, I'm actually going to talk about one that I talked about last year or maybe 2 years ago, but it's recently come up in the media because Tennessee has banned it from libraries, or they were talking about banning it from libraries, but it's Mouse by Art Spiegelman. This is volume 1? No, I'm sorry, this is volume 2. Apparently they were trying to ban it for nudity or sexually explicit scenes. It's a mouse and it's a cartoon. There's so much other horrible shit that took place in this book for that to be the reason. Also, whenever people try and keep you away from something, there's usually a good reason for it, and usually it's worth checking out on your own. This is a gorgeous, heartbreaking story about a man's relationship with his father and everything that his father had to suffer and how it shaped their relationship. It is beautiful, it is heartbreaking, and it is most definitely worth getting your hands on. So now I'm going to talk about books that I don't actually have, but all pretty good. So this was actually one I read in school, and personally, I hated it. However, I have gotten many a Jeopardy question from it, and I just think just because I didn't like it doesn't necessarily mean it's not something that should be read. And it's Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. I think that one is also one that kind of holds up. I will say, personally, I found it boring as shit, but relevant. And I believe it was banned for self-harm, drug use, and sexual promiscuity, all of which I have read in a YA. So, after that, there are a couple others that are my personal favorites, like the Kite Runner. For a couple years, they tried to ban for, what did they say? They're promoting Islam and terrorist ideals, which, let me just say, if that's what you got out of that book, you did not read that book correctly. That is a book about compassion and how the Taliban broke up families and broke up an entire country. Like, that is... There is no, how could you get that out of that book? Like, how could you read something so, anyway, moving on. Another one that actually is the reason that I wanted to do this video. When I was in high school, I believe, I went to my public library and they had a graphic novel section, which is actually where my love of graphic novels developed. And they had the complete Persepolis. Graphic novels have traditionally been pretty expensive. That was not something that I was ever gonna be getting. And I am so glad and so thankful that I was able to have access to that at my library, because it is an absolutely fantastic series. They later made that into a movie that won, it had critical acclaim at the Oscars. It was a foreign film. It was fantastic. It was gorgeous. It was beautiful. It was heartbreaking. It taught me so much about other cultures. And like I said, it just sparked my love of graphic novels, of reading to a certain extent. And I already loved reading, but like, it was the kind of book that just makes me so excited. I could not stop talking about it. And had that been banned or not accessible, I would never have had that experience. So stop fucking banning books. That's fucking stupid. Any type of censorship is just truly dumb. So that is my piece. These are all books. Everything that I mentioned today is really something you should genuinely check out. Maybe I would say, with a caveat, Brave New World and The Handmaid's Tale, they're gonna be slow, they're gonna be boring. Are they relevant? Totally. Some people actually are really enjoying them, but I found them boring from the get-go and had never liked Brave New World. But is it worth reading? Absolutely. All right, guys, if any of these books are some of your favorites as well, or if you've had any similar experiences, definitely let me know in the comments. I'll talk to you guys next time.